All right, so we're back with another episode of Up and Aware podcast. This time we have Charles here with us, Charles Brown. Um, yeah, we have been, and I never get this right, but we have been collaborators, and more recently over the past year and a half, friends. And so we've been talking about having you on this podcast for who knows how long.
Yeah.
And due to some factors that we'll get into later, we have to speed up the production of this because you may not be here um, in April and May. So, yeah. So when I think of you, Charles, I think of an artist. I don't know if you identify this, but entrepreneur. At the same time, writer, artist development, counselor, mentor. You know what I mean? All these different words come to mind. But I'll let you introduce yourself and sort of how you. Let me know if that's correct, if those are correct titles, or if you identify with anything else.
Humbly, yes, I will accept those.
Okay.
It's always difficult to sort of talk about yourself, but well, for some people, for me, it's pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're spot on, and I feel like I don't really need to add on much else because I feel like we're going to dive into a little bit of each one of those areas.
Okay.
So
So now you are actually, I believe, the first person to subscribe to our Buy Me a Coffee for this podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, and then after you was my grandma. So it's
Okay.
very,
Okay.
you're up there.
Yep, good company.
So now I'll do the disclaimer about our. So we do have an exclusive section of. So we do have an exclusive section of this podcast where once we get through the main general topics, we'll dive into a deeper conversation. That is, you can go on buymeacoffee.com/STBY Studio and watch it there. And you could buy us a coffee to help support the show and help pay for all these different things. And yeah, we'll just jump right into it. Yeah, so for this episode, I think we'll just keep it even more casual than some of the other episodes. We'll still ask the hard-hitting questions. And I know a lot about you. I've learned a lot more about you in the past 6 months. But now this is my opportunity to really, not hold back anymore. And yeah, so really, let's start way back.
Okay.
No, before we start way back, tell everybody from your perspective how we met and what is your first impression.
Yeah, for sure. First time we met, I had I believe it was a phone conversation with you, or it could have been virtually. Not sure, honestly. I was looking for someone who could shoot a music video for the song that I had on my first album called "Too Late." I was looking for someone with a very specific style.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally through social media and Thumbtack and everywhere else possible, I'm looking at different portfolios of work, and I was just like, huh, I feel like the way that I guess approach shoots and the way that you see cinematography and that sort of thing. I was like, I feel like this is the guy who can pull it off. And I was a little nervous, low key, to reach out to you, kind of just man, he has some pretty big brands on his portfolio. I'm just and here I am, a little local Philly guy, artist who's looking for, an opportunity to shoot with him. And yeah, that first conversation was just easy, seamless. You was really upfront, very clear about what you needed to know about me and what I was looking for. And very upfront in terms of just what I should expect from the process, which was super helpful too. Yeah, I think it was easier than I expected it to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always curious what was on my portfolio at that time, because it's obviously always evolving, but I don't even know what some of the stuff was up there. But I'm glad it resonated.
No, it
here
definitely
did. Yeah, we met through Thumbtack. That first music video where you met my good friend Mitch.
Yeah.
And now Mitch is sort of
in the circle
with us, and yeah, that was a fun shoot. It was very. What I would say about you is you were the best person I've ever met off of Thumbtack, as far as
Mm,
um, like the way you communicated, your organization, your accommodations, your flexibleness or your flexibility. Um, very, because on set we kind of switched some things up a little, like
yeah.
on the day. Nothing huge, but like small certain things, and you were
Right.
just like flexible with us doing that. Now the next music video we switched a lot. You know,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot has switched from that one, but that
No,
first
for sure.
one, uh, I feel like the first time we do projects with people, I feel like for both people, it's like for you potentially, it's like how is this person and how is this team and project going to turn out, and you're kind of like skeptical because it's the first time meeting. The phone
Yep.
call went well, but who knows
Yep.
how the production's going to go. And then on my end, it's more so like, all right, we made it here. We got past, all the pre-production stuff. Now we're here
Right.
on set. How do we make sure that this stays at the level that we want it to stay at, and
Right.
follow the organization and make sure that we don't drop the ball? And you're like sitting here like, well, we're already here, already put the deposit, already like stuck. And so I always feel like that's a pressure on my end. But we had a good time. It turned out well. I think there's some things always looking back that we could improve.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, then we shot another music video. I don't even know how long after. Do you know how long after
Yeah.
the first one?
I feel like the first one was shot in like September of 2022. And
Okay.
then we turned around and shot the second one in January 2023 on the coldest winter day possible.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
and
we
that was a
had.
2 day shoot. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that was a little rough. But your friends are true friends. They stood out there with no clothes and a gown on, and being zombified. Uh, but yeah, so real quick on record,
yeah.
how would you define your music? What genres?
Um, gosh, I mean, I always was to say like at the heart of it is soul. I've always drawn myself towards like calling it personally like eclectic soul. But I mean, I think naturally, there's going to be that R&B factor there. There's going to be some
Hmm.
pop elements. There's going to be some rock
Some
undertones,
reggae.
some reggae,
Okay.
um, some country moments. I think it's just, yeah, like I kind of approach it as just true artistry, where it's just like, these are the tools I have. I'm going to make a painting today, and I'm not going to like restrict myself to what type of painting it's going to be. I'm just like, just paint, be,
Right.
express.
So if
So,
somebody introduced you and said, "Oh, this is an R&B singer or R&B artist," you wouldn't take that like any one of those terms.
yeah.
If somebody called you that, you would be like, "Okay, that is," or would you?
Interestingly enough, at time of recording this, like I'm preparing for something that's very niche in terms of like I've been specifically asked to do a show that is R&B focused, and that has been a struggle because if I listen to like my current discography, like, and I even asked friends to kind of help, like from their lenses, like what can I pull off
Hmm.
and say that it's R&B.
Right.
And I mean, we've narrowed it down to like 3 or 4 songs, just being honest. And this,
Hmm.
somebody was better off being able to say like, we want a pop show, or we want hip hop, or like any other genre. I probably would have. I could have came up with a few more,
Okay.
but R&B, I was like, whoo,
So
struggle, bus, struggle.
so what we didn't tell anybody is your artist name. Tell everybody your artist name and
Yeah,
why
for sure.
you picked it.
Yeah, BC Soul, B dot C dot Soul. Um, the BC part of it stands for blank canvas. I, once again, just from like an artistic standpoint, even a spiritual standpoint. I feel like I'm always working towards being a blank canvas again. I'll never be a blank canvas again. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like every person I meet in my life will get a paintbrush and some paint, and it's through our experiences together. Like sometimes I may look at what we've created together and how we've lived this life together, and just be like, wow, this is really bright and vivid and just like
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And then other times I'm just like, ooh, this is a little on the dark side. This could be um, maybe not the best representation of how I actually see my life, but it's the truth in that moment.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'm just gonna like try my best to clean the slate. And some people keep paintbrushes, some people won't, right? But yeah, so blank canvas soul. So it's just like, at the heart of the music I make, there's always gonna be soul. I'm always gonna put my feeling into it. I'm not gonna say always. I am not a technically trained, vocalist. I'm constantly learning how to execute and do things well, always growing.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will always like feel what I'm putting out there. So there's always gonna be soul.
Okay. And so, at what point? Uh, okay. So now let's go back a little,
Yeah,
because
for
some of the
sure.
questions I feel like will only be answered with that context. So, you grew up. Tell us where you grew up. Tell us what the family
Uh,
life was like. Tell us like how you were influenced as a little kid, like before even the music, but just like what things were you into, like
yeah.
how was your world perspective molded as a kid?
Huh. Big question.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. So grew up, born and raised in D.C., Washington D.C. Throughout my teenage years, more PG County. So regardless, DMV is all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, went to school, Neville Thomas and elementary school, which is close to like Paradise Mayfair area. So those from the DMV area would definitely know kind of that Minnesota Avenue Northeast area pretty well. Um, I mean, it wasn't an affluent neighborhood, by any means. It's on the come up still, but I think that's more to do with like gentrification
Yeah.
right now. Um, yeah, like most of us in that neighborhood didn't have much, but we had a great time.
Yeah.
Like we definitely had a great time. Um, all black teachers, so that was like majority of my experience. Even going into like undergrad, it was
Wow.
going to a HBCU, so it's just like I always was like in the midst of blackness.
Yeah. So you're the youngest of four brothers,
Yeah, the youngest of four.
and so how is like were you all in the same house, like raised in the same house, or like?
Uh, no, because of age difference. Um, like my oldest brother, I think is like 14 years older than me. So, and when I was like 3, he went off to the military, started his own
Gotcha.
family, etc. So I didn't really grow up knowing him
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. The brother closest to me in age was 7 years older.
Okay.
And technically, I have two brothers who are 7 years older. Like, because like prior to my mom and dad getting together and getting married, they both had previous relationships, that resulted in me getting two brothers who were right there around the same age. But
Gotcha.
one brother lived in the household, and then the other brother lived with his mom,
Okay.
you know.
So your parents, were they artists of any kind? Like,
No, I mean, I think the only thing I ever heard, I heard that my mom could sing when she was younger. Did some school talent shows and that sort of thing, but never was like pursuing that like as a career or anything like
mm-hmm.
that. Um, but like there wasn't a day that went by that music wasn't like present. My dad was a DJ.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, that's similar.
so a lot of records around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like not a morning on a weekend that didn't have like music
Yeah.
blasting which also meant it's time to clean up. Um, there isn't a car ride where
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
isn't like music at the forefront. Um,
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I was big on making like mixtapes. You know,
Like growing up, when you say growing up, how old were you
like
at this
elementary
point?
school, I was already just like playing around with like, like my dad would allow me to go to like Circus City, for example.
Mm. Oh, I
And
forgot about that one.
right, woo,
Circus
aging myself.
City and
Uh,
Radio Shack.
yeah. And was allowed to go in there and like sometimes get treated to like, oh, I can pick out like 7
Yeah.
cassette tapes or CDs or whatever the case is. And I would like listen to those, but then I started eventually learning how to, record stuff on the radio and just like make my own mixes. Um, yeah,
So this was a long history. Like you had a long history
I've
of
always
me.
loved music.
Okay.
Like music is life.
Okay.
I feel like it just connects people universally. If there's a feeling or emotion, like I'm that person even in a relationship where I'm just like, I'll send a song if I like you.
Oh, like a
Like I'm
love
one of them
language is
people.
like sending playlists and songs back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Okay.
You know.
So, all
So
right, question. At the risk of sounding maybe a little ignorant here, um, but you know how like you were very into music growing up.
right.
I was very into video games. A lot of people are very into a lot of things growing up. Do you feel like you were music was a thing for you because it was just naturally the thing for you, or do you think like that was an interest and like uh passion for it came through like uh what is the word I'm looking for, like uh retreating into music, you know what I mean?
Right. I don't think music became that until I was more of a teenager. I think earlier childhood, like music was always there as a like form of expression,
Mm-hmm.
just like dance was for me at the same time. And but like if somebody were to ask me what I wanted to be when I was in elementary school, for example, there was nothing dealing with music on the table for me.
What would it have been?
It would have been I want to be a teacher
Okay.
or I want to be a pastor. Those were like those were the two,
And both are teaching.
you know. Yeah, and like so like literally like my nickname, like for some family members was like, here's the professor, like
Yeah. Yeah.
and then in elementary school teachers give me a nickname like Pastor Brown. So it's just like yeah.
So like were you annoying with it? Like or
I don't
that
think I was
was
annoying with it. I think I
like
was annoying. I was annoying with other things.
like you had a Bible,
I did have a
carrying with
children's
you?
Bible that got confiscated at school for sure.
Confiscated. Were you
Yeah.
beating people in the head with it?
No, you just weren't supposed to have it.
Okay.
Like it was just like you just weren't allowed to have religious material at school. I don't know. It was a throwback.
Okay.
But did I preach a sermon or two? Yeah, I did.
At cafeteria? At lunch?
Not at lunchtime, but when asked. Like one time the school bus for a field trip was running late, and one of the teachers was like, Pastor Brown, get up there, and I got right on the stage, and regurgitated everything that Pastor Macklin, my pastor, had preached the Sunday before.
So you're an extrovert.
Yes, in elementary school, elementary and middle school, I was an extrovert.
Okay, now the next question is
Yeah.
what changed? What happened that you went from an extrovert to?
I got to know the world.
Oh, okay. We getting there already.
Got to know the world pretty nicely. I got to understand how adults operate, how people operate. Like I was very observant. Growing up in a family where it's just like, speak when spoken to, stay in a child's place, like all those sort of things, but you hear everything. You're exposed to everything anyway. So it's just like all I did was just like listen, soak it up. I learned a lot about like how adults deal with conflict or don't really have the skills to do so actually. I learned how teachers operated, they pay the most attention to their star pupils, and then the kid who caused the most ruckus, they get the most attention.
Yeah.
So it's just like I learned how to get attention when it was appropriate to get attention. I learned to play the game by being like, oh, in high school, oh, this is the syllabus. oh, this paper that we're going to spend most of the semester on is only worth 10% of my grade. Watch me not do it. And it's going to piss you off as a teacher, naturally, because, you know,
Right.
and people are counting on this paper to be their saving grace, and it's not. 10% for homework, I'm not doing homework then. Like, why am I doing this every single day? You know, like, I'm happy getting a B. I don't need an
Yeah.
A.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need an A. Like, what do I get if I get an
So why did that?
A?
So then, how did that make you introverted, or like more, like because you were seeing as a kid
I
the
became
off.
I became more action oriented. I'm like, I don't want to talk.
Okay.
If I talk, you're going to try to convince me or tell me that it's not appropriate or I shouldn't do that or it's the wrong thing to do. I shouldn't, whatever. And my
Oh
mind has been
yeah,
made up,
yeah.
like, I,
And okay, so so let me. So you were always interested in music as a kid.
yeah,
You were into teaching and educating and like sharing. Like you had that interest to share with people
yeah.
enough so where you would preach a sermon when asked.
Fearlessly.
Yeah, like
I ain't have nerves in elementary school.
yeah,
Like, I was the
like
one in leading assemblies and leading the morning announcements. And
hmm
I was that kid, student government
okay.
president, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever it was to be in front of people, that was my niche, and yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, what? So
Adults try to ruin that for me.
well, I mean, because like the early, all right. So the earlier you start to see how the world is, you start
Retreating.
retreating. Like you said, parents, adults feel like you're too smart for your
Too
age.
smart for your own good. You think you're better than other people. Why is my child the one being selected for that? Or whatever the case is. And it's like nobody else has a problem, but it's the adults. Like, you're the ones tearing down, like, potential dreams and aspirations. Like, it's adults doing it. It wasn't my peers.
Right.
Like, they were very supportive. Everybody had their own lane. My other peers, they were the athletes and da da
hmm
da. Like, fine, then this will be my lane right here. So we all had our thing, but like, parents like to brag and parents like to. It's the adult ego
hmm
that was wild to me.
The adult ego that is underdeveloped.
It was just wild to me. Like, even for Christmas, like, we would go drop off all the gifts and wish everybody Merry Christmas, and I would come back with like little to nothing. Like, every year it's just like, and these are adults. Like, I'm coming around and I'm giving all of my cousins things, and you didn't even think about me, or you probably thought about me. And at the same time,
Right.
the way they look at it is like, you're good. So it was just a lot that I learned about adults that made me just be like, I'm good. Like, I don't want to talk to y'all. I don't want. I don't like. I became a person of very little words.
So I feel like from the people I've talked to so far, the people who have ended up, because I think being an artist is also is entrepreneurship,
Yeah, for sure.
in and of itself. And people kind of outside of the arts don't really realize it as such. Um, and so the people that I've talked to that went on to take a risk some way with their career as an artist, with like starting a business that had nothing to do with the arts and just taking that risk, um, have all been able to remember a time when they were a little kid and there was a moment where it clicked for them that and they realized that they can accomplish X goal, for example. Where people are like, well, I knew at 8 years old I was always going to be a teacher, or I knew this, and I was always gonna, when
Yeah,
I got to be older, when I had kids, when I had this, I'm gonna treat them like this because that's how it should be done. And the way I'm treated right now is not the way it should be. Whatever we go through as a kid, you kind of make a little promise to yourself that, hey, when I get older, I'm gonna be the change that
right.
I need. Did you have a moment like that as well? Not necessarily one moment, but like a span of like moments that kind of got you to that point.
um, yeah. I knew that I was gonna work with young people and serve families in some way, probably as early as middle school. I kind of made that commitment where I was just like, I, I mean, like for 2 years, and this is during the time when I went to school in PG County instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, somebody thought it was a great idea to bus a group of us, black kids to a predominantly white, very affluent school in Bowie. I had plenty of schools in my neighborhood. Like I just knew I was going to one of those. And here I am at 6 o'clock in the morning at the bus stop waiting to be bused all the way across the state somewhere else. And I think that was my first time experiencing racism from like teachers, first time being laughed at from other students, and they were white kids who were laughing at me. So it's like going from a space where A's and B's in elementary school, but not realizing like that's based off of the limited resources we actually had, to going somewhere else where they have like Apple computers and stuff I've never seen before in my life, and thinking like, oh, I'm like I always got A's in reading, and then all of a sudden in this element I'm below average compared to everyone else. So that's why I'm getting laughed at and snickered at in my class. And it's stuff like that where it's just like when teachers don't stand up, when like I'm realizing like just the injustices of like the education system and the communities we live in and that sort of thing. So I knew at that point on, like I'm like I know I want to be a part of whatever change is needed.
Yeah.
To make sure that other kids have more opportunities, especially black and brown kids, making sure that like families are better educated to know how to support their kids and be advocates for their kids. Like that's when I started being like that. I'm going to do all the volunteer work and do all the things. Like I became that person, like who's just like, I'm going to give you my last if I can. Like I'm going to help everyone in my power, like almost to a detriment. So I think that was one major. Middle school was a turning point for sure, and realizing like my passion. So as long as my work, no matter what I do, it fits within that bucket. I don't care if it's music. I don't care what it is. Like it all goes towards like mental health and supporting. Just I don't know, like just being the change that I want to see.
Okay, so. And at this point, music still wasn't on your radar, something that you remotely even wanted to...
It wasn't. I mean, I started leaning more into poetry because I think that's when my introversion kind of started happening, where it's just like I feel safer writing than talking to anybody, because I realized that when I talk, I'm not always heard.
Mm-hmm.
Or because I'm a kid, discounted. Like I don't get a voice sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
just
true.
like, but this pen, it hears it all. Like
Right.
it takes it all in. So like it got so bad that I started like sliding notes into my parents' door and stuff. Like when I felt like I wasn't being like fairly treated or heard.
See, I would be upset if my kid was sending me notes under my door.
I know. My mom and like they always talk about it to this day.
Right.
For sure.
They're like, yo, are we in trouble from our son?
No.
Like,
I'm like, at the moment, there's no winning. This like I gotta shut my mouth so I can pop.
Yeah,
like
right.
Like for real. Like I kind of pushed the envelope a little bit here. So I'm like, let me just like sit down right here. And before you know it, when I think they're asleep.
Yo, that is hilarious, yo. Okay.
So I became more of a writer around that time, with poetry and other ways of just expressing myself. And then I think by high school, it became like, I love music. I like writing. Can I write songs?
And what was your first song about?
Ooh. I don't even remember, honestly. Like I remember having a book of songs still hurts me to this day.
You threw it out?
My mom accidentally trashed them.
Ooh.
You know, like when parents go into like clean up mode and you ain't like really doing your part, and they start throwing like a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like looking. By this point, in my mind, I've written a masterpiece. Like,
Right.
my writing game is just like getting crazy now. And that when I realized like songs were gone and the trash was gone, like
Yep.
heartbroken.
So, with all that music gone,
Yeah.
you're like realize that music is an interest and passion.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it took you a couple years, like a while after, to even because you just started making music like in the past 3-4 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like last 3-ish years.
So what took so long from knowing that this was a passion and interest to actually getting in the studio, booking your first session, and like just creating?
Lack of confidence. I think college, undergrad, and onward, like I became more confident in my pen game. I was like, man, like I could really write some good songs, and I believe that I could be writing great songs for other people. Like I didn't believe I should be recording the songs necessarily or being the artist or anything like that. And even looking back, I think that was also due to like lack of confidence, truthfully. And coming to like a real time realization, like right now, I think it has a lot to do with how I saw myself in the context of just being in Black communities. Like I do feel like I may have excelled and had a different confidence if I in those rare moments when I'm like one of a few in a space, but when in the Black community there's a whole bunch of people singing. Like in church, everybody's singing.
Yeah.
And the ones who were getting the solos in high school and all that kind of stuff, like the ones who were really like being pushed and nurtured, and I saw adults taking the time to actually develop them, were the big voices who could do all the runs, and that caused the reactions amongst my peers, like when people do the crazy run or the big note. And I didn't have that gift. That was not my gift. And at the same time, even the music I was writing, it never was like just straight up pure R&B at times. Like it was crossing into other genres because I was influenced by so many different types of music that like being in those Black spaces, they're just like, what the hell is this? You just learn to keep certain things yourself, like, because they're not rocking with that.
Right.
Like I feel like we're blessed to be in a time now where it's more okay and accepting for Black artists to be seen as rock stars and all the different things. And even, I mean, still barriers and challenges, but through social media, at least you discover more of those.
So
not me, not back then.
So kind of, I want to hear about like getting into music. Sort of. So you already went to school. You went to undergrad, graduate school.
Yeah.
Was in the industry. I mean, was like in the workplace working.
Correct.
Sort of really following the passion you had as like what you were in 8th grade when you kind of had that realization.
Yeah, for sure.
So you started like a career in.
I started working full time my sophomore year in undergrad and haven't stopped since.
In undergrad?
Yeah.
Full time doing what?
I ended up becoming it started off the summer, like I guess the summer after freshman year, where I was hired at a YMCA to be a kindergarten camp counselor.
Oh.
Crazy experience. Man, learned a lot about myself through them kids. because there's sponges at that time, so you'll see yourself for sure, like with little things you do, and they pick up on it. But by that fall, going into my sophomore year, I guess like the Y has saw something in me and the way I approach youth development, the way I serve people, and that sort of thing. And it gave me the opportunity to head up this government funded program that they had an opportunity to do with some year round kids who were kind of underserved, etc. So I started building my school schedule around my work schedule more so.
Wow. Okay, never knew that.
Yeah.
Never brought that one up. So you always had money. That's why.
Wow.
So you was
that's
like
interesting.
everybody was like working work study, making $7.25 an hour. Or you out here getting health benefits, retirement. Like, okay.
That's hilarious because I'm sure one of my roommates who is also an artist, I'm sure we would laugh at this moment because when we were roommates, he always laughs about the fact he's like, man, it was great being your roommate.
He was never there.
I mean, never there, and on top of that, and never on campus. So he never saw me on campus.
Right.
Barely saw me, because I was working, and on top of that, like I was that roommate who was just like, I'm about to pick up the newest movies, newest video games, like all the things because like. Not because I could. I'm not going to be like that, but yeah.
Right. You was flexing a little bit.
It was just fun.
So do you feel like that, like, would you do that again? Or do you feel like your college experience was sort of like dwindled because you was like, like a grown up doing grown up stuff?
I mean, nah, I wouldn't change it.
Okay.
Like I've always struggled with that, because I look back and there's so many years where I'm just like, man, I missed out on like the actual college experience. And basically I didn't get most of my college experience until like my last year, which it was like year 5 for me because I went into overtime.
Right.
I switched my major and all this other kind of stuff at the last minute. I was about to graduate with like an English degree. And then I was just like panicked because I realized like this is not what I should be graduating with. And so I ended up switching my major like sociology, and I just played the game really well and was able to get out in the year. But It was like during that time I never felt so connected to school, and I actually enjoyed being there, etc. Whereas before that, I was considered quote unquote a ghost student. Where it's just like I'm the one, like if I drive to campus and I can't get a good parking space within a certain amount of time, I'm out. Like just won't see me in class that day, or if it's raining, or like give me any artificial reason, and I really wasn't going to class like that. I think I was battling some depression type stuff at the time too, but then like once again realizing how certain classes work, I'm just like, okay, this class we get 4 tests,
right,
and then outside of that you're just directly teaching from the textbook. Like nothing deviates. I'll buy the book. I'll see you on test days.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense now, knowing you was working 40 hours a week.
Yeah, I would definitely like sign up for like that class in particular was during my work hours. So I knew I wasn't going to be there.
Wow. It makes sense now. I don't know, because you're always talking about you played the system, you was never there. But I'm like, it makes sense because you had to, like, you couldn't have been there.
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel like the path that I was on, where I was already working full time, etc. I mean, like the degrees helped, right. Like especially when I got my undergrad in sociology, because I mean that's really all about really understanding people and why they do what they do, and like seeing it from a very specific lens. I was actually able to apply that in real life, working with kids and families and that sort of thing. Like it helped me approach them differently. Whereas before I would be like, you bad. Like, you just bad. But now I'm just like, no, you're not bad. Like, there's something else.
So what, because when it comes to like the two things you have, you've clearly had a career spanning earlier than most people.
Absolutely.
But then at the same time, you were like getting more confident with your writing, with like making music. And so like when you decided to like actually make music and release albums and music videos and things, where was your metric of success now balancing two sort of things that sort of, I imagine, had similar weights to them?
Yeah. I mean, it took like what 17 years. It's like 17 years after uh, starting my actual career that I actually dove hard into music. Like 17 years, that's crazy. Like to put a number on that right now, but I never stopped writing. That whole time.
Wow.
There were moments, when I worked with like some really close college friends and that sort of thing. And I always created music, because I always be around producers and that sort of thing. Wrote some songs for other like independent artists and that sort of thing. So it's like I've always been writing, even secretly recorded, but it was like in my mind demos, that
Right.
sort of thing. Uh, but when it was like time for me to do this myself, like it wasn't a conscious decision. Like even in 2021 when I first went in the studio on my own, no friends, no previous connections, no comfort,
That's crazy.
and I'm
Okay.
just like with this producer, who I'm still working with to this day, Keith Keys. And I'm just like, I came in there wanting to do remakes, some covers, just to like get comfortable on the mic and I was in a relationship at that time too. So I was just like, this is a song that I would love to be able to like give this person. Like there was
Oh,
just like
okay.
other motives around it.
Right.
It wasn't for the sake of like a career. And once again, I'm gonna reduce the number of times I say like. Right? Gotta do better. Gotta do better.
I think you're doing pretty good.
I was, and then I like the last 2 or 3 minutes, I was like. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah. So being in the studio, I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance and see if I can record one of the songs that I wrote like years ago. First song that I did on my own was the song "Too Late," and I had written that song with one of my close friends from college back in my undergrad years. So the song is easy 15 plus years old.
Wait, Too Late.
Yes.
That's your first song you ever recorded?
Yeah, in the studio.
And that's the one we shot?
That's when we shot.
Why was that the one we shot and not? Because you had two or three other music videos before you.
Yeah, two that were released on one that was like a bomb, a complete just like fell.
So like, why did it take you to get all the way to me to want to do Too Late?
Well, it was because of sequencing. Like the album had been out at that point, and I'd chosen 4 or 5 singles. So I'm just like, that was gonna be always gonna be single number 3.
So you was planning it out. You were planning it out.
Once I made the conscious decision, like once I was in the studio recording Too Late, and I heard it back, and it actually sounded good, and that was the confidence I needed to be like, okay, I'm gonna keep recording. I'm gonna
Right.
do some demos, see if I can like pitch these to people. I don't know, do something with them for a change, rather than just keep them in a notebook. And eventually, if I knew it, I'm like creating my own project. It became therapy for me. It became a release. Like once again, like yeah. So it became therapy for me. Period. It became very therapeutic, and I committed to doing a project. I think Keith even asked me at some point, was like, "All right, we're making music. Like, what are we doing with this?"
Yeah.
I was just like, "I think I'm gonna do. I'm doing an album. I committed to doing an album.
Mm-hmm.
I came up with a artist name.
So with the artist name, so
Yeah,
you started making music before you had an artist name,
absolutely.
and so out of uh, everything you told us so far about your childhood and your perspective on things, uh, was it easy for you to come up with BC Soul, or was that like
I probably was one of the easier things.
that was one of the easier things?
That's one of the easier things. Um, yeah, like it was a toss up between like maybe three or four things. I didn't spend as much time. I'll say that I did not spend a lot of time
Okay, I would have.
over trying to figure out whether like
See,
what the name was
that's
going to be.
surprising. That surprises me
You know?
because as much detail you put into songs that are coming out in 2025, and then to pick your artist name that's going to be attached to those songs, did quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, it sounded good. I was like, I can hear this. I can see myself saying his name. I mean, it created its own little challenges when I put like punctuation in between letters and all that.
Right.
It's like, why? But it happened.
So with just why uh okay, I feel like I'm building to a certain questions, and so because you're very humble, right?
Thank you.
Very considerate, very compassionate, empathetic, very generous, very generous. You know, all of those things, and so early, you were preaching early, like you knew you wanted to teach early. Uh, you realized that once you had some grasp of the world, people, adults, you saw how that would get, minimized. Um, and so you're helping kids. Your careers has been helping kids and families and teenagers and things. You've experienced, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but potentially like some bullying, some like just not being the cool kid, sort of being on the outside. Why have you been able to keep up? Let me see. How are you able to today be so humble, generous, caring, empathetic? Because I feel like it's not hard. A lot of people start that way. Then
Right.
they grow up and they go through life. They get hurt. That something happens. Life happens, and then they change. But you seem to have been the same person.
Yeah, I refuse that's, I mean, there's certain things that are going to change, but those kind of core aspects of who I want to be, need to be, choose to be in this world, I refuse for those things to change. Like,
The
I will not,
okay.
I mean, I feel like I already allowed, when I didn't really have control over my life, I allowed influences from the outside world, from family, from adults in the community, etc., to change me in certain ways. I was definitely angrier as a kid, a lot angrier as a kid. So it's just like I had to once again be the change I wanted to see. So that means I chose to go to therapy. I chose to self reflect and be a lot more observant, which naturally puts me like it made me appear very introspective.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why like I'm like, okay, fine, I'm an introvert at that point. um, yeah, yeah, I think it's hard. It is definitely the most difficult thing that I deal with on a day to day basis is not changing those things. It's easy to be rude. It is easy to be selfish, and there's I've learned that like there's times to be selfish as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just easy to not care about people and not care about how people feel and not see people for like who they are, and to not take the time and be like, well, why? I want to get to know you more. It's easy to just not put that work in.
But why are you why are you putting the work in so much?
No, there's no promises in terms of like I've always okay. Let me just be explicit when I say this. I've always felt and believed that I was going to be someone who like died early.
Okay.
I never
Okay.
expected that I would have like a long life expectancy or, so for me, I rather know for a fact that I, on any given day, if this is the last one, that I have no regrets with spending time with the people I spend time with, or getting to know people in the way I do, or just giving that one nice gesture to someone, or smiling at someone rather than ignoring them. Like any of those things, all of those things cause shifts in the world. And I know that it causes shifts for the better.
Mm.
Like that smile could be the thing that that person needed before they went in there and cussed somebody out today. Now, because I smiled at them, they're like, dang, like maybe the world ain't that.
Right.
You know, Especially in places like Philly and DC and major cities where people don't,
Especially Philly.
they just don't. They don't like that. That's it. I'm not going to say nothing deeper. They just don't. In major metropolitan cities, urban, cities, it is not just like norm.
Yep. Philadelphia.
As you said.
um, I mean, that's very. I mean, I think noble would be the best term to describe that
Which
because
sucks. Why is it noble to smile at people? Why is it noble to say hello? Why is it noble to be like, I see you, and it's okay that you're feeling this way right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here if you want to talk. And actually mean that. Everybody
right.
says it. It's so across social media, across everything. Everybody's going like, I'm here if you need me. Just reach out. I'm just one phone away. It's a formality
Yeah.
at this for a lot of people now. When somebody genuinely says like, "Hey, how are you?" Especially if I'm just like meeting them, I'm just like, which answer do you want? Do you want like the general answer, or do you really want to know?
Right.
Because I can give you like, oh, everything's good, when it's really not. But it's just like a formality. It's just like a normal greeting now. They don't expect you to actually tell them like how you really are doing.
But I think what's noble about it is doing that day in, day in, day in, day out. Well, day in, day out for years, maintaining that. Because I notice sometimes you get upset. Something happens. You like, but for you to be that person for other people, that's what's noble. I mean, I feel like I'm on a very similar
Yeah.
journey of that. But I'm like the only time you have to like express, or feel some of the emotions sometimes is when you're in the house and no one can see you. Because when you're outside working, when you're outside at school, those are all outward facing moments where you have to put on the burden of presenting that to people, even if you're not feeling it.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I'm like,
I've gotten to a
like,
point where I found like this interesting balance
right.
between showing up authentically while still being able to be there for people.
But see that you say that, but you
If I
don't,
can. If I
but,
can't, then I
but
can say that too.
no, but I mean, I'm being,
I like this. Yeah.
but,
Come on, let's fight, Kenny.
because you can say that, but you don't, at least in my experience, you don't let people do much for you. So I'm like,
Wow.
so I'm like, you don't, you have a problem. Somebody else pays for stuff, even though you done paid for the past 5 times. Uh, like I mentioned one time you randomly texted me and I was like sick or something. He was like, oh, let me know if you need me to do a grocery run for you. You know what I mean? I'm sure, if you were sick and needed a grocery run, you wouldn't be asking nobody or, expecting somebody to go out of the way for you. So that's what I'm saying. Like at a certain point, for that to really be true, you also have
Yes,
to let other people do things for you.
I agree. I agree. And believe it or not, I'm better now than I used to be.
Mm.
Um, I I think I am allowing my closest friends to be that. So if you were that one, if I was sick and you said that, I probably would.
Right.
Because I mean, like my closest 5 or 6 friends in the world, I'm like, those are the people who see me in my most authentic form. And I feel safe showing that. I can't do that with everyone. And I've also learned that people say a lot of things, they don't mean it. Because I have given a lot of opportunities for people to show up and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or when they do, it's like, did you try? Like it's very rare that I call someone and say I'm really like struggling with life, I'm going through something, and when you start giving me advice like, but you're so strong, you always make it through, like you're just a person who always like I know this is just a moment, a storm, like that. When you give me that, like I appreciate that, but it doesn't help me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like I could have told myself that.
Right.
It's fortune cookie for me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I need someone who's going to ask questions, who's going to dig, who's going to try to figure out what do I need in that moment. Like, do I just need to vent? Do I need someone to swoop in and help think of solutions?
Mm-hmm.
Do I just need somebody to just like sit there with me and we just be in silence, but at least I'm not alone in it? I need someone to start thinking deeper about who I am and what I need in those moments when I reach out. And if someone show me that they can't do that, it's no fault against them. They just can't do that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop showing up for them in that way. So I will continue to show up and be that for them for as long as I feel like I'm intended to be that person in their life without expecting the same in return. So I think that's how I got in the habit, is I just had too many friendships that weren't mature in the right ways.
I mean, if that don't sound noble to you, I don't know what does. Yeah, so you're actually that friend that be like, because you have some dynamics where like, somebody's taking more from you.
Yes.
They need a ride to the grocery store. They need a ride here. They need money. They need this. They need, hey, can I use your equipment? Hey, can you come?
Right.
They need you all the time.
Right.
And then when you say no to them, they be like, oh, well, I would have done it for you. I mean, whereas like, well, you don't got a job, you don't have equipment I can borrow.
To be able to do that for me.
Right. It's like, and then they're always like, not always, in the movies or whatever. It's like, well, I would have done it for you, but you don't need nothing from them. But you're the friend that actually, like if people ask, you would actually give it to people.
Yeah.
And you do without them asking.
Yeah. Like, I'll do it if asked. And if I can't when asked, then I'll let them know that too, or what I can do, because it may not be to the magnitude that you are accustomed to or that you necessarily need in that moment. So I'll tell you what I can do. But for like my friends and my parents, that sort of thing, like whatever's needed, I'm like basically 100% in. Yeah.
Because we're getting into some of the exclusive content questions already. So I don't know if I have to move this to the thing, but okay. So there's a lot of questions that I have to see which ones are suitable.
Right.
Because I don't know if going back to what you said earlier, of you felt like you was going to die young.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I'm still not off that boat yet. Like I still, like every day I'm impressed. It's like, wow, you're still here. Like, look at this.
Hey, put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, like I be thanking God every morning. I'm just like, man, you still got me down here in this ghetto place. This is great.
So like that just comes from just like what? I mean, that's just your natural thought, or like do you feel like you're gonna die because you have all these goals that you want to accomplish? There's no way you're gonna live long enough to do them.
I feel like
Or are you just
I, I,
anxious
I,
about
I
dying?
don't I don't know 100% why. If I had to take guesses, I just feel like from childhood up until now, at some point, especially in those formative childhood years, something happened that put me at a disadvantage. I don't know, like if it was just like the normal plights of just, black family life, type of things, seeing things you probably should have been shielded from, or I don't know. I just feel like I just feel like I have no chill, and I mean that in like not even in the cool kid way. Like I legit have no, like I struggle to have a chill. I struggle to, like, this year is my goal this year, and I would just probably like be somewhere crying tears of joy if I could pull this off. But I'm like, what does it look? Can I just have a vacation where nothing's planned with people who I enjoy being around, and I'm just like able to just like be. I don't know what if I always strive to just be like what is my most authentic self. Like I strive towards figuring out who that person is and how to tap into that world where I could just like take off the superhero cape, take off the pressures of the world, stop adulting for a moment, and just authentically just like live a pressure free, stress free, careless existence.
And
And I feel like for the longest time, I just don't know how to do that. Like
like you still don't, you're saying?
I struggle with it, which is why I'm like my goal this year. Like I deserve that kind of vacation. I deserve a vacation. Like, I've taken a lot of PTO. I've been on vacations, quote unquote, but I mean, more times than not, I'm doing a lot of the planning. I'm organizing things. I'm making sure like everyone is having a great time. There's an itinerary in place. Like basically, anyone who's on that vacation is like, yo, that was fire, best
Yeah.
vacation ever. And then I come back and I'm tired because I really
Yeah.
actually worked. Like I worked. I made sure the kids had a great time. I made sure the teens had things to do. I made sure the adults had a great time. Everybody had a great time. All the age groups are covered and everybody's good. Like transportation handled, all the things handled. No worries, no stresses. And that's because I can be relied upon to do that.
Thank you for clearing that up.
And I don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just at a
Yeah.
point now where I'm learning like I also need to make sure I do a better job of like taking care of me. Cause I do feel like I've shaved off like some life. I've shaved off some years.
I see. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Very, very introspective answer. Um, there's one thing you said. That is now gone. That one flew away. I mean, so I think and I think, let me see. Let me check the time here. All right, we might have to switch to the buy me a coffee questions just because of our time left here. We got 30 minutes left. Um, and I feel like these questions aren't really even going to be much different. It's just we have to have a time where we switch it over. So I think it would just be following the stream of consciousness or the stream of this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully get some extra juicy stuff out of him about relationships and whatnot and kids and marriage and all that. But yeah, so at this point, just hop on over to buy me a coffee. The link will be somewhere right here. Yeah, and then finish the conversation or listen to us finish the conversation.
Yeah, this is the juicy stuff actually. I'll make sure I deliver.
Oh, okay. Hey, look. Well, tell me what question I need to ask you to get that
Hey!
to get that one out. But yeah, so my thing is for somebody like you that is all of the good things, all the good qualities, that is that has a fulfilling career. I'm putting fulfillment or
Yeah.
I'm putting that term there because of how you like sort of move and talk about it. Um, you have a thriving, uh, active life as far as like passions and creating. You're following a dream. You have something that you're like pursuing.
Yeah.
That is of interest to you and gives you some joy. Um, like what did you already feel like you had success with all these things going up, or are you like still searching for success? Like, do you feel like you're close?
Uh, yeah, I'm not done yet. I think that's be the only bummer that I'm just like, I'm grateful that I'm like here every day, and I'm just like, because I got things to do. Like, there's more to do.
Before you feel
Um,
successful?
yeah, for sure. If I mean, because everything I pursue has its own measure of success. Like I said, a metric for everything. So
But we're talking about your overall
just in life,
metric, your overall in life on
yeah,
the
I'm not. I'm,
scale
I'm
of
not.
successful. Where you 1 to 10? Where are you putting yourself?
Um, 7.
So everything else is icing on the cake. Like you basically,
I've exceeded anything I've ever thought I would do.
and you're only 70%
Yeah,
done essentially.
yeah.
I mean, it'll never end, but
Oh yeah,
like the
it'll never be a 10, but it'd be great to see what a 9 feels like.
so the highest level you've ever been is a 7 of feeling successful,
Oh, for sure.
and that's you would say recent, like a recent.
Just it doesn't matter when. Why I feel like 7 has always been like the height of I don't care how great something goes. Like for me, I'm just like I can always look at it and say like it could have been, should have been. Next time it will be.
Right.
Or I just kind of do it as like a comparison to where I feel like I am in my own life and journey, where I'm just like, that's a 7 by like my standard as of like what I can do today. Like my first album, man, like I thought it was pretty solid in my opinion, and like a 7, well, probably a little 6.5, 7, but I'm just like that was only based off of what I felt like I could have done as a vocalist, as a writer, or like at that point.
But I feel like if you've always been at 7, you likely always be at 7.
It could feel that way, right? That's crazy.
So I'm like, to be operating at a consistent 7 for most of your life, um, or at the point where you can start qualifying for successful, age and stuff. You felt like you've exceeded your goals. Um, if you exceeded your goals, I don't know. Every one you've ever done, 7%, like 7 out of 10 seems pretty. I don't like. Will it ever actually get to a 9 or a 10, or
Yeah,
will it always
like
be at the 7?
it'd be great to live in a world where I feel like it would be acceptable for me to feel happy about 8 or 9, and I actually believe it. I feel like it doesn't matter what I've chosen. It can be
Yeah.
like career wise, etc. Where it's just like no matter what, I'm always on guard a little bit. Where it's like, yeah, this is great today, but tomorrow y'all can be the same exact people to tear me down. That's the world we
Yeah.
live in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just like I'm not about to get comfortable. That's wild. Not gonna get comfortable. I'm grateful, blessed,
Oh.
but this world is ghetto. I'm telling you that. Like, I hate it here. Like, it's there's so
Wow.
much work.
So if you'll never get out, if you'll never get away from that 7, then, and that's where you have to be at to like not get fully comfortable, you're basically at the 10. A 7 for me is a 10 to
It
you.
might be a 10 in like 30 years. Like somebody might all of a sudden come across this random guy who never was a part of the music industry or whatever, like this little independent guy out of nowhere. They're just like, what is this? And they listen to it and it's like, yo, this, like, they may appreciate it on a whole different level. That in that world, like, I'm like, yeah, that would have been a 9 in the real
that
world.
so that's where the success
Yeah, like
stems from.
yeah, like for sure. Like I'm a product of the world that I'm existing in. So I'm just like, according to this world,
So what else
I
would make?
feel
So
pretty
what
comfortable with
else
that.
if somebody found a song album playlist 30 years from now? I was like, oh, yo, this person was. They only got X amount. What they weren't famous or what? Like that alone will give you so much feeling of accomplishment and
100%.
fulfillment. What else would give you that same thing, or is that the highest?
I mean, that's not the highest. Um,
Preaching a sermon at TD Jake's church.
Absolutely not. Love TD though, but no. Um,
Okay.
I am most proud when I'm able to carve new pathways.
For
I'm most
yourself or other
for
people?
both, especially for other people. I don't do well with being confined to like this is only what's possible because this is what we kind of normalize, or because somebody else already tried that and it didn't work out, then that means you shouldn't try that thing either. I'm always like career wise, I was at my best when I'm the first to take a position that no one has ever had. I'm at my best currently at work when I'm able to like push back against what we already are kind of content with and we see as normal. Um, so I think even the same thing when it comes to the work I've done with youth and families. I didn't go to school for any of that. I wasn't raised in the same way. Like I didn't go to camps. I didn't have an example to follow necessarily. However, the things I was doing were deviating enough that it caused people to notice. And that's how I was quickly able to be a supervisor, and all these other things so quickly and have a career so quickly is because I just do. If it requires me to have to go through so much red tape and approvals and uh, other people's voices and all this other kind of stuff, probably not interested because I'm probably going to get in trouble because I'm going to still do the thing that I strongly believe in, and I'm going to finance it. I'm going to like test it out. I'm going to do it all on my own so that no one else takes liability for it, and I'm just going to like put my heart in it. Like I'm not going to be afraid to like go down to the people who need us the most and be with those people and serve the people and be a part of the community, and like that's the way. Like I'm not, like I tell my job now, like I'm not interested in being a part of like having us be a part of a program where the community knows us Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Like that.
Yeah.
That's all well and good, but we're still outsiders. We're like there's no trust built there. I want to know who are the community leaders, who are where do you go to church, where are people on their normal day to day, what are the normal day to day needs that people have, and how can I embed myself in helping you meet those needs so that you then can focus on this other thing that our company wants you to focus on. They want you to focus on literacy and all these other things, but like if you have a choice between I'm struggling to figure out how food's gonna be on the table tonight over coming to this workshop over here, it's no brainer,
Right.
So why aren't we thinking of ways to fulfill that need? Like, why aren't we having dinners where we can invite families and whether you're kidding the program or not, like bring the whole family, like
Right.
everybody got to eat, like let's
Right.
do this together. I'm just like, let's just do it. I hate red tape. I hate
Yeah.
all it. Like
Yeah.
I'm a do it person,
It's like, well, can we? Well, let's
and
bring
I
that up to our.
exactly, and I
Right.
think that's what you see when it comes to like the music videos and that sort of thing. Where it's just like once I sign on and say I'm gonna do something,
We doing it.
it's happening. Like, and I'm going full steam ahead unless you tell me something technically,
Right.
like give me a real constraint, and we can modify. But I'm not gonna not do the thing.
Right. Yeah, you said we're gonna go to Puerto Rico for a shoot, so that means it's happening. That means we're going. So earlier you said so. I don't know how long you've been in therapy, but you talk about being in therapy often,
Yeah,
and
trying to normalize that.
yeah.
Come on.
So, which this podcast has been very therapeutic for me, which is um, part of the reason I do it.
Yeah.
But um, Yeah. So you said music was your therapy. So if you had to
Yeah.
make the hard choice and drop one, like what gives you more value or more like, you know what I mean? Creating the music or talking to somebody and like having a connection with the person versus creating something.
Unselfishly, I choose to be with the people. You know,
So you give up music and
I mean, I can't give up something. I mean, it's easy to give up something that I haven't had that long. Like this is
I
new.
mean, but you don't think what you get from creating music is more valuable? No, I don't want to
No,
use terms like that. Okay.
it's not more valuable than what I can accomplish by simply having a conversation with somebody, an authentic conversation. Musically, there's a lot more thought that goes into it. There's a lot more strategy that goes into it. You know, where it's just like I got to think of potential rhyme schemes, and I have to,
Hmm.
tell a story, or possibly like there's always a creative like
Okay.
avenue that I'm like or construct that I'm working within, versus just sitting here and having a conversation with somebody like that. It's way more just authentic and real and more present. Like I have to work for people to actually even push play on music.
Got it.
Like it's like I'm trying to like convince people to listen to this thing. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So like the impact is a no brainer for me. Like if I can sit in a room and actually talk to people and people are here to listen, give me that all day.
Okay. That's the best ad for any therapy company. Better help sponsor us. Something like that's giving huge credibility to that. Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, yeah, that's the question. I was on my phone earlier to write a question down. Because I knew I would forget, and I already asked that question.
Okay.
Um, and so I think, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But um, you as Charles Brown,
Yep.
uh, somebody who is very aware that today could be the last day.
Absolutely. And I'm a very, despite all the kind things that have been said, very flawed individual. Very flawed. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
working on it every day. Because I'm like, yay,
Even
I get
though,
another day
right,
to
right.
become a better person. This is great.
But like that as a constant reminder,
Yeah.
I'm sure has some effect on your perspective as a whole. Um, but like, what is the biggest thing that you feel like you want to leave in this world? Like when you're gone, for people to remember or to think about when they think about you.
Great question. Um, okay. I'm just gonna say that thing. I'm not gonna overthink this. Currently feel I don't believe it to be true forever. Like I feel like something huge is gonna happen that I don't know about. However, in its current state, I don't feel like I will be like etched in history in any sort of way. If I am to be etched in history, I feel like, and to be remembered, if there's going to be footprints in the sand left behind, it's going to be because of the steps that others are taking. And I will have been fortunate enough to make an impact on their lives. And that's the reason why they are who the world sees them to be. So I feel like it's going to be through artists who I've helped develop. It's going to be through, individuals who I've been fortunate enough to be their mentor, individuals who I've had conversations with, and because of that conversation, it shifted something for the way that they see the world and how they make moves. And it will be because of those people. They will be the testimony, basically. Like they'll be the ones who carry my name on. It won't be because of necessarily like the work or the popularity, or it won't be because of
Yeah.
some grand gesture of
Yeah. 'Cause
2024 standards. It'll be because of just impact.
yeah, because a lot of people have plaques that no one
Yeah,
stops and reads.
yeah, a lot of benches with names. You
Every
know,
bench got a name, and no one knows what name it is.
yeah. So I don't think that'll be like.
Right. Um. Hmm. Do you feel like you're close to that? Or
Oh, it's already happening. I just won't be able to like see the like. It won't be. I may not even see the proofs or of that while I'm here, truthfully. But I know it's already happening.
mm-hmm.
Like I know it's happening. I mean, surrounded by great people now. Like like I worked really hard to get to this point where I'm able to actually like talk to people and be comfortable within that and be comfortable within my transparency. Just even modeling what that looks like is going to be a game changer for people. There's not enough transparency, and I didn't grow up with transparency. Like people weren't transparent and having open conversations and about feelings, and there was a lot of yelling, a lot of arguing, a lot of
Yeah.
conflict, a lot of fist fights, all that kind of stuff. But like people weren't really taking time to understand each other and hear each other and listen. And so me modeling that alone, I think, is gonna help. I know there's a lot of people doing that. I just want to do my part in that.
Well said.
I promise y'all, like in the future interviews, it's gonna be so much fun.
No, it'll always come back to this somehow.
I promise I'm a fun person.
Yeah. Well, to that, tell everybody because I
Oh
forgot we
man.
had this conversation at one of your many city bars. Uh, what's it called? How do you pronounce it? Lay
Oh, Late
Meridian.
Meridian.
So we were there discussing the topics about pessimism, optimism.
Realist and all the fun things.
So where do you? So I forgot your answer, but where do you
I
see?
don't even know if I did answer. That's wild.
Oh, well, here you
I
go.
mean, because there was other people, so I was observant. Um, I mean, I'm definitely like a good balance between uh, being an optimist and a realist. Like I don't feel like everybody gets that combination, but I feel like that's my combination for sure. Like I think by nature, I'm a visionary kind of person where I'm just like I have ideas for days and pursuits, things I'm gonna just like tackle,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I may not always logistically think them through. But when I do, when I start putting pen to, like you already know me, I'm a very logistical person eventually. Um, and even though I got the big dream, I'm always just like, but reel me in. Like I count on other people to help me
Mm-hmm.
keep that realist piece there intact because I think I will get blown away with just being an optimist, and I'm just like, it's gonna be great, everything's great, fine, everything's fine. Don't
Mm-hmm.
worry, and I need somebody to be like, actually, sit down. This is not fine. Like, we cannot accomplish this, and here's why. Um, yeah, but I'm an optimist hardcore, but I'm realistic. I listen.
Okay. S- So optimist, realist, optimist, also a hopeless romantic. Would you say, or
Wow, that took a turn.
I mean,
Um,
that's a good transition.
Great transition. Yes, definitely hopeless romantic. I think I've done a great job recently of like committing to not pursuing relationships for a while and putting a
Mm-hmm.
time on that because I'm that type of person where it's like no matter how much heartbreak I experience, I expect heartbreak to come.
Right.
And I'm just like, and that should not hinder me from being able to love again.
So yeah. Oh.
Like I just look at it like, okay, you went through that. What did you learn from it? And the next person, they deserve to get like an even like greater version of you than you were in that last one.
So that's essentially what it looks like to not carry baggage. You know what I mean? Like that's like what that looks like in action when people, oh, you got baggage, baggage, baggage. It's like no one can say that about Charles. Like Charles is giving people fresh starts.
I mean, it's always going to be a fresh start, and I mean, I think everybody has like some capacity of like some kind of baggage, but I don't look at it as baggage. I just look at it as like things that help shape you. I think it becomes baggage when it's weighing you down more so. Like when it's just like it's over, it overtakes you, overtakes the relationship. Then I think it's baggage, consider baggage at that point where I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
whoo, you need some time to like unpack that.
Right.
Like that's where therapy and all that other kind of stuff come in, right? But for me, like I don't think I have baggage. You know, yeah, no baggage here.
Okay. Except that Coach bag right over there.
Hey, which was a gift.
Nah, coming here with Louis Vuitton and Versace
Right.
next. Um, wow. Okay, so you answered that question very thoroughly. Um, so much so you kind of took away some of my.
That's how you gotta do for me. You know, you gotta answer the questions well enough that he ain't got much more to say because he's something's wrong with him. But yeah.
No, you've been a good one to toss this back and forth with for
Mm-hmm.
sure, for sure. Charles be slick with it too. He be every once in a while he be coming out trying to catch me off guard, which I normally
Look,
try to do
you
first.
know, anybody who know anything about Aries, y'all know how we are. April Aries here, so
Yeah, speaking of Aries, I was very late on your birthday. I was what 20 something, 24 days
you
late.
know it's Taurus season, but it's okay.
He didn't even say nothing. We had a whole outing. So we watched a national event, a history making international event that a day, the solar eclipse, and then we got dinner after. And that was like what 2 days after your birthday, and just no words were said.
Yeah, probably like 6 days or something, 4 days after. I mean, something like that. Yeah, for
Right.
sure. You know,
You want to say anything about that on air
I mean,
as an Aries?
I think that's better than somebody completely just like not acknowledging that they even have a birthday during the time I'm on the phone with them, probably on their birthday. It's just nothing, just nothing. Like it took me months to realize, oh, you had a birthday in November, and and I'm like, I think I even talked to you on that day, possibly. It was wild to me. So that's where our friendship is. You know, like we got the date. It's on the calendars now. We're good. Uh, yeah, that's just another thing where I'm just like, I don't do big for the birthday situation anyway, and I don't hold it against people who don't say happy birthday.
Mm.
I don't hold it against them. I think there's like I have like a close group of six like for like solid friends. I'm just like, yeah, I'll get around to it at some point. Like, or if they don't, that's fine too. Doesn't
Right.
take away from the quality of the friendship.
Some people might say so, but for you, it's not. It doesn't.
I'll just talk for me. Yep, that does not waver my friendships. Um, I can find my birthday on social media and all that kind of stuff because if anything irritates me more than anything else, it's being blown up on my birthday by a whole bunch of people who I don't talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only because of a Facebook notification. My God, you know,
I'm glad those days are by and large over.
yeah,
People used to like you have to go back and comment, thank you, thank you, thank
yeah, and I
you,
never did.
and like,
I never did. It means more to me when somebody reaches out on any random day of the year
mm-hmm.
because they were thinking about me or something reminding me of them. Like that means more than just like, oh yeah, you exist because Facebook just reminded me that it's your. I don't really like that. Doesn't hold water for me. Like it means nothing to me.
But do you remember all your friends' birthdays? Like off the top of your head?
For the most part, yeah. Like I'm pretty solid with that. I don't know. Like I feel like I have a thing with numbers, you know. So it's just like once it's like kind of in there, I'm like, oh yeah, I found a reason to like remember birthdays randomly.
Hmm.
Like it's like like my producer, for example, I was like, oh, you got a birthday coming up on the 11th, right? You know, he's like, how do you remember that? You know, like
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, I always know the time of year to start looking out for the birthday at the very least.
Okay.
So once I know like time of year, I'm like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I suck at birthdays. I didn't know my dad's birthday until what, like 2, 3 years ago.
Hey,
And
that's
I don't,
wild.
yeah, it was one of those things where it's like it's either August 30th or 31st. You know, it was like it was either one of those days. And the one year I'm like, oh, it's the 30th, and then that year I was like, no, it's the 31st, and I was like, okay, well now it's the 31st, and then I just remember not. I'm thinking I know the right answer, and then every year it swaps, and I'm like, wait, no, I was right. So that's a very new thing for me. You know,
Yeah, that's not one of my flaws. I get the birthdays. I don't miss them.
okay. Let me see. What time is it? So we got a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Um, I'm trying to figure out what's the most important thing to leave them with. Um, Anything coming to mind? Anything that you want to leave people with?
I don't know. I probably should, but I don't really like have anything solid. I think if I were to push myself right now to leave folk with something, if you take nothing else from this conversation, it's just to really strive towards authenticity and whenever possible, like just stand firm in what you know to be right. It's going to be the hardest thing in the world. It's going to be the hardest thing. You may be the only person at a table or in a room who has that thought or belief, and you just know it to be right, while everyone else may be nervous to say it or nervous to um, be different. I just encourage you to just be different, just embrace it. And then the last thing is just like there are plenty of young people around you who are being examples that you're an example for whether you want to be or not. Their voices matter, and just do your best to like protect them in ways that maybe you weren't always protected. So
Now I don't know if the mics picked that up because it got real low and
it did. I mean, I tried to like lean into it a little bit, like without losing my comfort. Like
right,
this is my
right,
comfort is like
right.
I'm trying to present on camera like I'm just like real even and calm or whatever. That's why this arm didn't move. It's like it's here, it's planted for image purposes. But I'd be nervous as hell talking on these cameras. You never know what's gonna come
Wow.
out of Kenny's mouth. So
Hey, you survived 2 interviews. That's rare for most people. um. Well, all right. Yeah. No. Thanks for making the time. I know this was something we had planned for a while.
yeah,
Um. It's always a good time talking to you, chatting with you. And you'll be moving. In the next 2 weeks or
woo, yeah.
so.
Put this in the coffee chat.
And tell them the address too. You're moving to.
Yeah, I'm moving to Baltimore for at least 2 years minimum. Uh, for a couple of reasons. One, well, probably three reasons. One is just to sort of like give myself a fresh start. I've been in Philly for 3 years, met great people, And at the same time, it just doesn't feel like home. So, I've always loved Baltimore, been drawn to Baltimore. So I'm like, let's give that a try. Two, is closer to the DMV area. Uh, families getting older. Families are starting to like spend more time with their own individual families, and we're not really coming together as a collective the way we used to. So uh, I'm committed to starting new traditions and bringing the family together in a new way. And then thirdly, it's cheaper too. Yeah, Baltimore is definitely cheaper. So it's going to be great to save money and invest differently and not feel as stretched thinly when it comes to like projects and things I want to do and projects I believe in that I just want to invest in and maybe just be a producer on. Um, I just want to, yeah, I have a lot more that I want to do beyond music. So,
It's a nice little putting a bow on everything. Um, yeah. So for more, who knows when's the next time we're gonna get on another video interview like this? But yeah, I appreciate that. And definitely buy Charles a coffee because from what he was on this
yeah,
couch
like for
spilling
real,
some
buy me a
like
coffee. Make sure you subscribe as well to STBY Studios. A lot of great content on there. I've been wanting to be on Up and Aware for a long time. Kind of watched other episodes, and I'm just like, man, this is so cool. So it's kind of crazy that I'm here.
yeah, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you.
All right.